everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about romance books, and if you know me, you know that I am primarily not a romance reader, but a fantasy reader or a romantasy reader. But in the spirit of Valentine's Day coming up, I wanted to give you guys some recommendations for romance books if you are not a huge romance girly. So these are ones that as a fantasy girl, it was very easy for me to get into them. They all still have a really solid plot, and just in general, they were a good old time. And I was not bored, which is very easy to do in romance coming from fantasy. So I'm gonna be going through 8 different books here and giving you a little spoiler-free sneak peek into what the book is about so that you can build your Valentine's Day TBR. We're gonna start off strong with the most recent romance that I read, which I have talked briefly about on here, but that is Variation by Rebecca Yarros. Rebecca has been popping off, apparently, because I just read Onyx Storm, I read this, and I just picked up 2 more of her romance books at Target, so those are coming soon. This was a 5-star read for me. It is about ballet dancer and a Coast Guard rescue swimmer, and they're in their like little New England town. This is a second chance romance. They were like middle school, high school best friends, and they never actually dated. Then this big car accident happens. Book has been set up. So this whole book takes place 10 years after this car accident happened, where they don't talk anymore. You will especially like this if you were ever a ballet dancer, because the ballet lingo in this is strong and she really paints the picture of what a dancer life is like. The next one I have actually kind of caught me by surprise. It is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Now, I actually read the first 100 pages of this and DNF'd it, but then I picked it back up on audiobook and oh my gosh, I DNF'd it right before it got good. Literally, the chapter that I started on when I picked it back up again was like phenomenal, super intriguing. As you can see, it's not a very long book. This is a magical realism book, so especially for those fantasy readers, if you're wanting something that is going to have a little bit more fantasy in it, but it's still a contemporary romance, this is a great pick. It is about a magical apartment, and basically when you go into the apartment, you end up 7 years in the past, and it's about this girl who goes into the apartment. It was her aunt's apartment, and then 7 years in the past, there's a different guy there. So it's basically about them falling in love in this apartment, and it deals with a lot of good topics like grief. Get through that first 100 pages. I promise you it is so worth it, and it is so good. Next, we have Out on a Limb. This is also a very fun one. It is a accidental pregnancy trope, so just warning you guys, that's not a spoiler, that's how the book starts out. But it's about this couple that essentially had a one-night stand, got pregnant, and it's about them co-parenting and bringing this baby into the world, and it is so good and funny, and honestly this is the healthiest relationship that I've ever read in a contemporary romance book. There's no miscommunication trope. I cannot rave enough about her. The next we have is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This was my first Christina Lauren book and I absolutely ate it up. This is a second chance romance, high school sweethearts, and it really is just super cozy. I did cry in this book, and it's kind of hard to give you a full review on it without spoiling it for you. So this does do alternating timelines. That's all I'm gonna tell you, is you're going back to the past, like high school, and then the present that we're in right now. Huge fan of this, guys. It's so good. Now we have the controversial takes. Don't come for me, guys. But the author that shaped me as a little baby reader when I was 14 is Colleen Hoover, okay? And some of her books aren't the greatest. I'll give that to you guys, but some of them are really good. And these 2 are some of my top ones that are like romancy still. First, we have Reminders of Him. Okay, guys, it's fun. Don't knock it till you try it. I very vividly remember jaw-dropping on page 26 of this book. I was working at a daycare at the time, and when the kids went down for a nap, literally we just got to sit there, and I was always reading while I was waiting for the kids to wake up, and I was reading this, and I got to page 26, and I remember straight up shocked. So good. This is basically about a girl who gets out of prison after a tragic mistake, and I don't want to tell you too much because it's crazy, and that page 26 Plot twist is insane, guys. The next ones I'm not gonna get too into, okay? Because, and hear me out, I would like to do a full video dedicated just to this author and kind of talking through all of the books that she's written. But we're gonna wait because she has another book coming out this year, so I want to be able to include that in the video. But one of my favorite, more generic contemporary romance authors is going to be Elsie Silver, okay? This woman, I eat up every single one of her books, okay? None of them are bad, not a single one. There's some that are more in the 3 range. There's most in the 5 range. She has 3 series out right now: the Rose Hill series, Gold Rush Ranch series, and Chestnut Springs series. And they are all about cowboys in some sort of sense. Not necessarily, but it'll be a rancher, or it'll be a horse trainer, or it'll be a bull rider, or it'll be the brother of a bull rider who was in the military and stuff like that. Each one is a series of interconnected standalones. I just grabbed these 2 off my shelf. I have the other ones up there. The 3rd book in the Rose Hill series, Wild Side, comes out soon in like March. So I will be doing a full Elsie Silver review after that where we talk through each one of her books. But for me, some of my favorites are actually the last books in the series. So the last book in the Chestnut Springs series, Hopeless. I loved this. A lot of people did not like this. This is a age gap romance. We do have a military man, but the growth and the trauma of the characters in this book just makes you connect to them so well. We also have a false start. This is actually going to take the cake as my favorite Elsie Silver book that I've read. It is top tier for me. I also would like to forewarn everybody who is going to look into these books to read them. The descriptions of them are terrible, okay? They're so bad. They make it sound like it is the worst, just completely focused on the spice book ever. They're not, okay? It is not only about that at all. Spice is very easily skippable in these. You have no issues knowing when stuff is about to get spicy and skipping over it. It's very easy. There's no dialogue happening during it. So you are good to just flip a couple pages and continue on with the plot. There is a plot in every single one of these books, and they're so much fun. And I fear I love a country man now. But we're gonna get more into Elsie Silver's books at a future date. And the last one on my list I'm going to talk about is The Unhoneymooners. I actually did this one on audiobook and it was just a really fun time. This girl and this guy who their brother and sister are getting married, and basically every single person at the wedding gets deathly ill with this terrible virus, and the sister and the brother of the bride and the groom end up going on the bride and the groom's honeymoon because it was like non-refundable trip situation. So they are like fake dating on this honeymoon, and it is a wonderful, wonderful time. And there's a lot of drama throughout it. I think this one might be better suited for like a summer read. Who knows? Some of you guys might live at the beach and it's Valentine's Day and you want to go read a nice, fun beach romance. This is it. Those are going to be all the books that I have for you guys today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.